Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're just a couple days removed from the latest balance patch that saw 29 cards, like 7 quests buffed, and we're recommending almost none of them. There are a few different decks out there. There's stuff to try out. We'll see how things develop. I might do an updated best decks video in like a week or so. But overall, yeah, I don't think it's the most exciting meta out there. I don't know how excited people will be about these decks, but we'll go over them, and you can take them and reasonably expect to climb, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend. And if you enjoy the content on the channel and feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as it helps support the channel a ton. So starting off, Beast Hunter, one of the best decks out there. You really can't go wrong. Really put over the top by a couple new cards this expansion. Supreme Dinomancy, giving all beasts either in your hand, the deck, the battlefield, a huge buff. And when you curve that from like RC Rampage or a Mother Duck, that can be really solid. We also have the new Legendary City Chief Esho that can, again, buff up all your beasts. It's all you run. So like Fetch is guaranteed to draw 2 cards. And overall, really good aggressive deck. It's got some value with like Ball of Spiders. And yeah, it's trending really darn well. So if you want some aggro Beast Hunter in your life, this is a deck that runs a few new cards that you can reasonably expect to climb with. Dorian Warlock, we talked about it yesterday. It feels like it's getting further refined. This version, I don't believe runs the Tourist, but it runs like the StarCraft location package. We've got Deadline in there for some tradable action. Basically what you want to do with this deck, if you didn't watch the video yesterday, play Puppet Master Dorian, then play cards like Cursed Catacombs, play cards that draw minions, and then you can get something like an Agamagan and cheat out a bunch of stats that deal a bunch of damage, possibly OTK, or Ysera for mana, Fireack for, you know, your fire spells, and you can like Amagon Kerrigan out. Like there's ridiculousness with the deck, and the overall like control package of the deck can help just win against aggression, right? So overall, might be the best deck in the meta, and I don't know if that's a good thing when Puppet Master Dorian's the focal point, because it's just another giant mana cheat scam card that is not particularly fun to lose to. Next, we have Spell Damage Druid. Not really much new here. This location still busted. No idea how it didn't get nerfed in the last patch, and the idea of the deck, we're not even running Elise because we just want to hit like Ethereal Oracle with Oaken Summons, and you got Incendious, Alonis. There's literally nothing new about the deck, and it might be the best deck in the game. I know Pocket Train just hit rank 1 legend again with it, and I just think it was a huge mistake not to nerf it in the last patch, but regardless, yeah, it's still doing really well, even with 2 mana Magical Dollhouse. Like so many cards have been nerfed in this deck. Chalice has been nerfed, Incendious has been nerfed, and it is still arguably the best deck in the game. And again, doesn't really fight much for board, can be prone to some early game aggression, but overall, yeah, doing really well. Protoss Priest is like probably the most popular deck at all ranks right now, even more so than Quest Paladin, which we will recommend, but it's really not that good, I swear. Like the stats, even at Diamond through Legend, it's just like mediocre. But yeah, this deck, Protoss Priest, has been put over the top, particular with Resuscitate. This card is absolutely bonkers with this deck because you give Sentry Reborn, so you get more mana cheat, lifesteal. You can give your Rushers Reborn. You can give your charge minions they get from Chrono Boost Reborn, or a Void Ray. It's just nutty. And your early game with like Fishing Rod or your Orbital Halo is really good. And then the late game is just basically motherships for like 0 mana, which you can copy up with Hallucination. And then after all of that, you can Endbringer Umbra and get the death rattle of not only sentries, but motherships, and get a ton of value and kill your opponent with like carriers and Colossuses and all that stuff. It's gross. It's really good. And I absolutely have to recommend it. Resuscitate is just a bonkers card, and that's why it's so good and popular. Now, Aggro Demon Hunter, still a very playable deck, still runs the same cards like Sock Puppet, Slither Spear, and Bog. They're still worth running, and the deck is still pretty good. It's just slightly less good than before, but if you have the deck, you have the cards, you absolutely can still climb and do very well with Aggro Demon Hunter, at least as of now. So yeah, we're still recommending that deck. Quest Warlock. Quest Warlock is one of the quests that got buffed that people are trying to to figure out. Again, I wouldn't go out of my way to crafting it. I'm still keeping an eye on things as they progress, but this seems to be a version that's working. It's 1 frost, so we have the tourist, right? Summoner Dark Marrow, the Deathlight tourist, so we can run like Horizon's Edge and Corpsicle. You see cards like Clumsy Steward to make cards temporary. You just really want to draw with like Eat the Imp and these cheap card draw options. I wonder if you should run too. But even like early game aggression cards like Sizzling Cinder, mass production, you just want to get your quest done as fast as possible and then just deal a bunch of damage with your Corpsicles, with your Horizon's Edge. I'm going to try and get a video out on this deck. I don't know, maybe today or tomorrow. I haven't tried it out, but yeah, the list, this is the one that's trending the best. So thought I would recommend it, but again, not one of the best decks out there, and it's really early on with limited sample size, so be aware of that. Triple Blood Starship DK still good. Like, it's good against aggression. It's the same stuff as before. 3 mana Guiding Figure instead of 2 mana. Running Demolition Renovator, at least at higher legend, to try and deal with like a Mirror Drizzle in particular, or you hit an Elise location, because yes, we have Elise in here, but you have the Ancient of Yore, Defense Crystal, Kill Jaden, High Cultist Heron just to cheat out Starship pieces. You know, thin your deck could be really good. Ceaseless Iliacs, we've seen this deck forever. We know what it does, and it's still pretty good. It's not as good as before, but certainly, again, a deck you can climb with. Elemental Mage might be a real deal. Again, a video or a deck I might try and get a video out in the near future where it tops out at City Chief Esho again. So this card's seeing some play with all your elementals, but you got new cards in here like Windswept Page Turner. Whenever you summon an elemental, you deal a bunch of damage. You got the Inferno Herald. We got the Conjured Bookkeeper with the Kindred, where if you played it, you get to summon a copy of it, and they both have Death Rattle, draw a spell. You got Smoldering Grove for all your fire spells, Sizzling Cinder, and even Blasteroid for like random fire spells. The deck's trending all right, like it's doing okay. So again, I'll try and get a video on this if I can in the next few days, but if you have the cards, it's relatively cheap deck. You know, I think the only legendaries are like Zeph, which is that a mini set card? I'm not sure, but Esho is free, right? So might not be that expensive to play if you want to give it a try. But yeah, Quest Mage, I guess you could go full spell Quest Mage, but it really isn't that promising. But that is something you could consider. Quest Warrior, another quest deck that's like right on the bubble of playability. It's more the hydration station stuff that's good, right? But yeah, you just stall with your armor gain, your Ancient of Yours. You can board clear with Hostile Invader, with your brawls. Yeah, of course, you want to try and cheat out your Totola with your Chemical Spill, and then maybe win the late game with those quest rewards. But overall, real struggle, I feel like, to win games with this deck. It's like a 50% deck win rate type of deal, but it's very popular because this card's really fun, right? So you want to give it a go. It's definitely playable. It's just going to be a slog of a climb, I'll put it that way. This deck might actually be really good. I took a look at early stats, and the sample size is limited, but Mech Warrior's trending pretty solidly with, again, of course, Elise to copy up stuff like Target Dummy. But overall, like, you have Chemical Spill to get Turtle. They're even running Crazed Alchemist for like killing people with it. You have the Part Scrapper in the deck to try and cheat out mechs, and yeah, you've got Umbra for the Death Rattles. You got Inventor Boom to resurrect the stuff, and cubes. Again, the win rate looks promising. I might give the deck a try at some point. I haven't gotten around to it as well. There's a lot of stuff, I guess, to try. Not quest stuff, but more scam things, basically. And yeah, this deck, if you have the cards, it's an expensive one. Maybe give it a try, but again, I wouldn't go out of my way to crafting any of this. Just be like, you know, we'll keep an eye on it. But if you have the cards, maybe give it a go. See if it's any good. The stats at Diamond through Legend and even like High Legend are pretty good. It's just the sample size is really limited. And lastly, I will recommend, because it's a cheap deck, but it really isn't that good. People hate it. But if you look at the stats at like top 1K, it's like 45%. At like Diamond through Legend, it's hovering around 53% and dropping, is Quest Paladin, right? With the Dive the Galak Adepts, because it just feels like it doesn't really do well against the good decks. And day one, yeah, it dunked on all the people trying the bad quest decks again, but they're gonna stop, and once they stop doing that, this deck does a lot worse. It's still running Hot Spring Glider, which was recently nerfed, so you got that going on. But you know, any deck that's got Grunty has to be pretty OP, so I will give it that. But I will recommend it as a more cheaper option, but I do think you'll have a bit more trouble over the next few days as the meta gets more refined. And as you climb the ranks, you're not going to face a lot of decks that this deck can take advantage of really slower, you know, clunkier decks, like all the bad quest decks. For Wild, discard Warlock, really good with the additions of this expansion. Cursed Catacombs in particular, really nutty. You can basically almost get, like, you know, a lot of the time a Walking Dead, a Golem, or just draw a card you really want to hit. You got discard cards like Fellstalker, Expired Merchant, Chamber of Viscidus. You've probably seen it a lot if you're playing Wild, but this is a list you could take and probably climb within. It can have some absolutely disgusting high rolls with some of these stats you can cheat out. So yeah, definitely worth giving a go. Holy Wrath Paladin, again, worth recommending now that you can play Sharp-Eyed Lookout. This is what I used to get to Legend. I think I lost like 2 games from Diamond 5 to Legend. It's so dumb. So many lethals, I'd like over Planner and then Holy Wrath on 5 for lethal, or just Sharp-Eyed Lookout, know what I'm gonna get next. And it's just silly. You got Shrivala in there for sometimes you draw Ceaseless and 25 damage could be enough, but overall, really dumb deck. I think they should really look at Holy Wrath. It's not a healthy thing to get 125 damage. Like turns 4 and 5 is silly. And you got Tight-Lipped Witness in here just to try and deal with, you know, the ice blocks of the world. Libram Paladin, still very good. Cheat a lot of mana, get your Libram of Clarity for like 0, but basically what you want to do is get that weapon, the Star Slicer, get your Aldor Tenant, and then yeah, just rip through your deck, play 0 mana Light Rays, get your Lanessa and your Libram of Divinities. You can even slap it onto a charger and kill your opponent, and lock people out with Rebuke and Cold Feet. Big Shaman, we're always going to recommend because it's just always really good. Never gets hit in balance patches, and you can Ancestor's Call out a big minion, you can Muckmorpher out a big minion, and of course you can tutor that stuff with like Fairy Tale Forest, discount your Muckmorpher with Gavel, and then like reincarnate something like Neptulon or Thunderbringer for an absurd amount of stats on the board. You win fast, you lose fast. That's the way Big Shaman works. And Pirate Demon Hunter still seems to be like the best, really like just pure pirate aggressive deck. You can look at Shadow Priest as well, but you got Glide in here. You got like Magnifying Glaive for some, you know, good card draw. You can disrupt with Mana Burn and just play the cheap pirates. Field of Strife, try and kill your opponent fast. Ship's Cannon can push a bunch of damage, especially with like, you know, Cliffside and all of that. So there we go. Standard and Wild decks, not a huge spice up or change up in the meta, but there are some things to try. And again, we will be looking as much as we can for developments in the meta for decks to try out. I'll have some gameplay videos over the next few days of some of these new decks. And of course, any news that pops up in the Hearthstone world, we'll talk about. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.